I made this short here, and I'm going to show my process of animating it, including making the little mini characters right there. To make the mini Bonnie or Bonbon or whatever you want to call him, I used the original Freddy base that I had. I modeled that one. I don't think I recorded myself modeling him, but basically I just took the Spring Bonnie model and modified him. And for Bonbon, I'm basically remaking the jaw and just recolored the head, reshaped it a little bit so it would look more like Bonnie, I guess. And since he is going to be based on Bonbon, or Funtime Bonnie, the hand puppet, I decided to give him more expressive eyes, as in more expressive, I mean larger eyes, and that's pretty much what I had in mind. And then I thought it would be a good idea to have their vest, like a little triangle part open on that, and I gave them a different style of bow tie because most of my models that have bow ties have the same style of bow tie. And I could have reused the ears from Spring Bonnie, but I decided since there are two different things, it would be too much to just copy the entire, basically the entire headpiece for them. So instead, I opted out and decided to remake the entire endo and remake the ears. And this one is a lot simpler because you're not really going to see a lot of the innards at all. And I won't be reusing it, and really, I only would be reusing it once, so it would only be worth making really simple instead of having a really, really complex and detailed model that most people probably aren't gonna see or notice at all. But instead of drawing out the endoskeleton like I did on the last one, I drew it out on paper. But this one, instead, I just kind of freestyled it and hoped that it looked good. And in the end, I think the result looks pretty good. And now I'm just rigging it. I'm using the same rig that I used for the other ones, but instead of having legs, I gave it a swivel thing so it can, you know, just swivel at the bottom, and also a piston so it can go up and down. So it won't rotate up or down, but it will rotate left and right. And now I'm setting up the IKs so I can just move it how I want, and I'm adding a copy rotation like I did on Spring Bonnie, my Spring Bonnie model that I made an animation for. For Chica, I just used the same base as the mini Bonnie, so I can make Chica, and the head shape is more so based off of Toy Chica. I don't know why. I probably could have done like the withered Chica head thing, but I guess since I already had the piston mouth on Fredbear, I wouldn't. And here I'm taking away the food aesthetic for this character, I guess. But it's still practically the same character, just different clothing, I guess. And for the beak, I used a plane instead of reshaping a cube. I thought about reshaping a cube, but I didn't know how I was going to get it into that shape. But it looked really off for a really long time when I was trying to fix the head. But I eventually kind of got there to a point I liked, but it was mainly because I kind of just gave up on trying to make it look better, because it's going to be covered by a saxophone, or whatever this is, whatever saxophone-like thing. But that's pretty much up for them. Because this video is mainly because focused on my animation process rather than the modeling, most of the video so far, or half of it, is about modeling, but this part is about how my process of actually animating it. And right now I'm just laying out the first frame so I have a basis to start off of. And really, from there, I kind of freestyle it. I get a rural sense of what I want for that first part, so I only worry about having to make the first part look good, and then I can move on to the next part where I pretty much just do what feels right. Sometimes for this one specifically, I looked at the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 trailer to kind of get the same feeling of performance, but I try to make it as different as possible, so it's not just the same thing over and over again, and so there's actually a little bit of flavor for each of the characters. And because I'm doing 3 of them, it's easier for me to make them feel different. But right now, I'm just animating Freddy right now, and usually I do check the endoskeleton to make sure that the endo parts don't clip into each other, but I didn't do that for this time. I don't know why I didn't, but usually I hide the outer shell so I can just see the endo moving. And a lot of times I do go back and just watch it, especially when I'm done, and I just watch it for like a whole minute or 2 just to make sure that it feels right, so I can put little tweaks. And something I did notice, and some things that happen in real life animatronic performances, is that they actually raise their arms to a lot. What I'm guessing is to just like replicate life, or like replicate like they're alive or something, and not a stiff statue that can only move their head. But that's pretty much it for Freddy, and it's just tweaking the animation. I'm actually not speeding this portion up for the video that much. I am speeding it up so it's not like 20 minutes, but it's speed down, like it's sped up enough that it's 5 minutes. But the reason why this one isn't as sped up as the last one is because I actually animated this one fairly quickly compared to the other one. And for my clips, I like having them usually around at least 2 minutes and at most 5 minutes for each of the clips. But overall, I didn't take as long to animate this because I didn't make them do a whole lot, because the idea was that they were kind of just the backstage singers, kind of, so they weren't as relevant as the main performer, which is Freddy in this case. So I'm not gonna get them to do like a whole bunch of fancy motions, just for simplicity for the background character. And for Chica, I'm just getting them to look to their right and bob around a little bit to make it look like that they're playing the saxophone. I was originally gonna get them to tilt, but I couldn't. And for Bonnie, I decided it would be a really funny idea if they just like squinted at the camera really, really slowly. And I do think I was right for the idea of getting them to squint really, really slowly at the camera. But then I noticed that it was a bit too slow, and I didn't want to get rid of it. So I had to get them to spring into action immediately when Chica started playing, so they'd start performing at around the same time. And I didn't want to do an entire process of getting them to look like they're playing a guitar for real, because in real life, animatronics are really rigid. So I'm just getting him to move his wrist up and down really, and him bopping up like once or twice. So not a whole lot going on for him. But in the end, I did make him look around a little bit like Chica did in the beginning. But besides that, that's really it for animating this specific scene. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna push out another one soon. By the way, here's an executive view of what I see while animating, or what I see in general watching it back.